Swipe and prep, swipe and prep. Look at me, swipe and prep. If you know what song I was mimicking, congratulations, you have children. If you don't, well, I hope you enjoyed it. Hello everyone, Morgan here, and it is time to talk about power outage supplies. So right now, at the time of making this video, there are tornadoes tearing up cities, and people are without power for days at a time, if not more. So what are you gonna do during the time in which you don't have power? I saw a comment from a lady on one of the posts about the tornadoes, and she was like, my boss wants me to come in even though there's nobody has power. I have no way to take a shower. I have no way to curl my hair. I have no way to even, make my coffee. So heck no, I'm not going into work. And you know what? Quite frankly, I don't blame her for that attitude. There are lots of people that are just simply unprepared for these basic necessities. When we're talking about power outage supplies and preps, I want you to look at your everyday life and say, how can I recreate my everyday tasks through emergency preparedness supplies? Let's talk about it. First, lighting. From anything from candles in little lanterns like this. I got these little lanterns from IKEA. I love these lanterns. Nice candles on the inside. You can get the battery or the rechargeable ones. These are eTech City. I really like these. I've had these for a long time. The dust is proof of that. We have these basically everywhere in our household. So you just pull up, lots of light. It gives a lot of light. That blinded me a little bit. Headlamps. I really like headlamps over just general flashlights because I can be hands-free. Rechargeable or batteries. I like the rechargeable kind. That's just my personal opinion. I will show you how to recharge the rechargeable stuff in just a minute. Food and water. Seems pretty basic to have just some basic food and water on hand. You don't want to get too complicated when it comes to making food or having water on hand. Yes, even if you may have a lake or a stream near you that you can get water from, having already bottled, purified water that is ready to drink and go, whether it's the bottles, the gallons, whatever, is essential in a crisis, because then you don't have to purify anything. You don't have to go do anything. You have this stuff ready to go. Of course, if the emergency lasts longer than like a day or two, then sure, you can go out and you can go collect that water and purify it and do whatever. The water will still run from the faucets for, it could be a good few days, but in some circumstances, there are some natural disasters that kick up the water so bad that now your water supply could potentially be mixing with like sewage and other things. And so they tell you there's like a boil warning, a boil notice and those kind of things. So we want to just make sure that we always have bottles of water just in case we can't even consume or use the water from our faucets. So emergency water is essential. Then of course, yeah, food, ready to go food. If you have a fridge or freezer that you would like to keep going during the crisis, let me show you how. Sorry, it's a little dark in here. Generators are one of the best ways to power that. This is about a 2,000 watt, and then this one over here is 1,000 watt. Anything 1,000 to 2,000 is going to be really good. For freezers, you can usually kind of get away with something that's like 500 or 600 watts. That can run it usually solid for the whole night, something like that. So you don't need a ton of wattage, but it's nice to have these bigger powered ones so that you don't have to recharge it as often. Like the next day, if there's still not a lot of sun, you can't recharge it, whatever, you still have some power for some other things. But if you get a generator, a solar, this is a power bank solar generator that can be charged via solar, your car, generators, things like that. Of course, you can have just a gas-powered generator. This is gas or propane. Propane stores better than gas. So I would recommend having some sort of dual fuel generator. And this one was actually super cheap. It was on sale at Harbor Freight, believe it or not. But this one is super great. It has wheels. As you can see, I'm moving it back and forth. It's just a really great generator. This is the Predator. From Harbor Freight. I'm not getting any, kickback from this or anything. I just think it's great. A dual fuel generator is going to be really good. And this one's super quiet. You want to find a quiet one. We take this one camping. We also have it here for emergencies. But if you have the propane tanks, you can plug it into here and it can last several hours, if not more, depending on what you're trying to charge. I have a whole video that talks about generators, and I have a free PDF download that talks about your solar needs in case you are looking for some solar battery power bank. I can run literally anything in our house on all of the generators that we have. So it's not really a big deal. I could even run my coffee maker. But speaking of coffee, if you don't have a gas stove or anything, which we happen to, but we've lived years without a gas stove. And even if we have a gas stove, we still have alternatives such as this. This is a little quick option. You can put like a pot or a pan or whatever on here. And this is just a propane that you can get from the store. And it's a little 1 pound propane. You put this on and you can cook on here. You can boil water, you can make coffee, you can cook, you can do whatever with this very simple handy dandy device here. You can get the multi-burner Coleman stove, which is really handy. If you are going to use any of these propane devices inside, be sure to just have like a little cracked window near it, just for like some extra ventilation and that kind of thing. Or use them completely outdoors. And of course, never bring your gas generator or anything like that indoors. Never bring your barbecue indoors, anything like that. In addition to the rechargeable stuff, if you don't have like the actual rechargeable stuff, have rechargeable batteries, and you can use those power banks or generators or whatever to charge this stuff. Or of course, to have disposable batteries so you have plenty of that on hand. Medical supplies is essential. Even if it's just a power outage, think about the power outage, not just for your home, but it's probably a power outage for a wide radius of your town. That would include hospitals and pharmacies and anything else, right? So it would be extremely difficult, even if they do have backup power. Hospitals, grocery stores, all these things, they do have backup power, but who knows how long that'll last. And do you really want to be going out into that chaos with people rushing to the stores and things trying to get this stuff? You want to have this stuff on hand, okay? First aid supplies, including over-the-counter medications, as well as any emergency antibiotics like from Jace Medical. If you have to have any other medications, make sure you have at least an additional 30-day supply. You just never know, right? I always recommend that people have emergency communication and radio options, things that can access the NOAA weather radio stations and things that you can listen to your community. Get your ham radio license because that's really the best way, but there's also the AM, FM, and NOAA weather radios, the stations that you can access via these or these, and you can listen to what is going on in case your internet on your phone or whatever is not working properly. This is how you're going to be getting information. The information is power. Entertainment. We have all kinds of entertainment, such as video games and books. We have crafts, and we have, our imagination. We have our family, right? We have so much to do. We also have a DVD player that is connected to our computer. So because we have those generators, we can charge our laptops. We can charge our video games. We can, with ours, also power our TV. And we also have a backup battery device that has a whole bunch of movies and things on it that we can use. But we have a ton of good old-fashioned DVDs. So we can watch DVDs on our laptops or on our PlayStations or however we want to keep it charged and powered and watch them. With the power being down, that means most likely internet may be really scarce. You may be able to access it on your phone. However, I highly recommend that you have as much printed as you possibly can. This doesn't just include recipes and how-to guides, but this also includes important documents like your mortgage and your insurance and all these things you want printed. Yes, you can also have them on a USB drive, but in a lot of cases, having this stuff physically printed, if you need access to it, you have it right there and there. If you do not have access, or if you only have access on your phone, and it's difficult sometimes to access the internet, especially if there is no power and the internet is out and all you have is your phone, because then everybody else in your region is now trying to access the internet via their cellular service, right? So that slows everything down. It slows down your cellular service for phone calls, texts, and accessing the internet, excuse me. So, having everything printed and ready to go is essential. If you want to take any sort of bath or shower, I recommend using one of these solar showers. I have a whole video on this. I think this is fantastic. You can boil water using that Coleman stove that I showed before, and then put that in there. You could also use the sun to heat it up, of course, or either method will work. And then you can use that as just a quick little shower. Of course, you can also use something like this. This is waterless soap. We have a bunch of this, and this is just something you wipe on yourself. You do not have to rinse off or anything. I have tested it. People always ask, are you sure you don't have to rinse it off? Yes, they use this in stuff like nursing homes and things where they can't give people baths anymore. So they actually use this in hospitals and all these kinds of things in order to give people baths. I love this stuff. You can also get some like dry shampoo and any of that other stuff that you so choose. Again, even though water may be flowing, you may be able to do dishes by hand, whatever, maybe conserve water and conserve your energy and get some paper plates, some plastic utensils, these kinds of things so that you're not having to do so many dishes during this crisis. You can also burn, paper plates. So it's a really good thing to have around for emergencies or disasters. Whether it's blackouts or, you don't have water for whatever reason or whatever the case may be, just relieve a little bit of your stress and just have these for emergencies. You know what else qualifies as an emergency? Just not wanting to do dishes and grabbing a paper plate every once in a while. I'm going to direct you to my videos for heating and cooling, and that's because these are extensive videos that talk about all the different ways for heating and cooling. So if the power outage happens to happen in a hot time or a cold time, you're prepared no matter what. I have a bunch of books and checklists and resources and blog posts and all sorts of things on my website, and be sure to sign up for my newsletter. I send out a weekly newsletter to help you get better prepared for emergencies and disasters. That's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Conquer tomorrow by preparing today, and I will talk to you later.